History is often made in unexpected ways. Great events can spring from small moments, and so it is with the Austrian Mint. Its story begins not with a grand plan, but with a dramatic tale of capture and ransom. It is a story that takes us back more than 800 years, to the time of the Crusades. Richard the Lionheart, the King of England, was returning home. He had been fighting in the Holy Land, but his journey back was filled with danger. He was shipwrecked in the Adriatic Sea and had to travel across mainland Europe in disguise. It was a risky path. The king's disguise did not hold. Near Vienna, he was discovered and captured. He was taken prisoner by Duke Leopold V of Austria. A king was a valuable prize. Leopold demanded a huge ransom for Richard's freedom. The sum was enormous. It was 150,000 marks of silver. This was a fortune beyond imagining for most people at the time. The people of England had to pay a heavy tax. They melted down church plates. They gave up their wealth to free their king. The silver, a river of treasure, flowed into Austria. It was a moment that would change the country's destiny forever. What does a duke do with such a mountain of silver? Leopold V used it to build. He built new city walls for Vienna. He founded the town of Wiener Neustadt. And, most importantly for our story, he decided to make his own money. In the year 1194, he used the English silver to establish the Vienna Mint. This is where it all begins, not in a quiet meeting room, but with a king's ransom. From this dramatic event, a legacy of coin-making was born. The mint would go on to strike coins for emperors, for republics, and for the world. From this single legendary act, an institution was created. The Austrian Mint, known today as the Münze Österreich, has been striking coins for over 8 centuries. It is one of the oldest mints in the world still in operation. Its origins are tied to a story of adventure, betrayal, and immense wealth. This history is stamped into the very identity of its coins. Every piece of metal that passes through its presses carries a whisper of this incredible past. It is a reminder that even the smallest objects can have the grandest of stories. The journey from a silver ransom to modern commemorative coins is a long one. In the beginning, coins were purely practical. They were tools for trade. They were simple pieces of metal stamped with a mark of authority. This mark guaranteed their weight and their purity. A coin was worth the silver or gold it was made from. People used them to buy bread, to pay soldiers, and to trade goods across the land. The designs were often simple. They might show a cross, a coat of arms, or the symbol of the ruler. The famous silver thaler, first minted in the Habsburg lands, became a standard for trade across Europe. Its name even gave us the word dollar. But something began to change. Rulers realized that coins could be more than just money. They were small, metal canvases. They could travel far and wide, passing through thousands of hands. What better way to show off your power and your image? So, the portraits of emperors and kings started to appear. These were not just simple stamps anymore. They were detailed likenesses. The coin became a piece of propaganda. It declared to the world, "This is your ruler. This is the face of power." It was a way for an emperor in Vienna to be seen in the furthest corners of his empire. The Habsburg dynasty were masters of this. For centuries, they ruled a vast empire from their heartland in Austria. Their coins reflected their grandeur. The designs became more elaborate. They showed the emperor in profile, often wearing a laurel wreath like a Roman Caesar. The other side of the coin, the reverse, often displayed the double-headed eagle. This was the powerful symbol of the Holy Roman Empire. These coins were still used for everyday trade, of course, but they were also statements. They celebrated the ruler, his dynasty, and the might of his empire. This was the first step towards commemorative coinage. Coins were no longer just about economic value. They were now carrying historical and political messages. They marked the reign of a particular monarch. When a new emperor came to the throne, new coins were struck with his face on them. People could see the change of power in the money they held in their hands. This link between coins and celebrating a person or an event was becoming stronger. It laid the groundwork for the special coins that would come later. The coin was evolving from a simple tool into a storyteller. The world was changing as the 19th century gave way to the 20th. Empires were vast, and their rulers seemed eternal. In the Austro-Hungarian Empire, one figure stood above all others: Emperor Franz Joseph I. He had been on the throne for a very long time. By 1908, he was celebrating an incredible 60 years as monarch. This was his Diamond Jubilee. Such a long reign was a cause for a huge celebration across the entire empire. It was a moment to honor the man who had become a symbol of stability and tradition. The empire decided to mark the occasion in a special way. The Austrian Mint was tasked with creating something truly memorable. It would not be just another coin for daily use. It would be a tribute, struck in the most precious of metals. The Mint produced a stunning series of gold coins. There were 10, 20, and even massive 100 krone pieces. These were not meant for buying groceries. They were objects of prestige. They were created for collectors, for the wealthy, and as official gifts. They were a permanent, shining testament to the emperor's long and historic reign. These coins are what we can truly call early commemorative issues. The design of these Jubilee coins was magnificent. The obverse showed a portrait of the aging emperor. It was a dignified and powerful image without a crown, showing a man who had guided his empire for 6 decades. On the reverse of the 100 krone coin, a beautiful figure of a reclining woman was depicted. She represented fame, holding a laurel wreath to honor the emperor. The dates, 1848 and 1908, clearly marked the 60 years of his rule. Holding one of these coins is like holding a piece of history. The weight of the gold feels important. It connects you directly to that moment of imperial celebration. These coins were a huge success. They were sought after then, and they are highly valued by collectors today. They represent a high point in the art of the Austrian Mint, but they also mark the end of an era. Just a few years later, the world would be plunged into the First World War. The Austro-Hungarian Empire would crumble. The old world of emperors and gold crowns would vanish forever. The 1908 Jubilee coins are therefore a poignant farewell. They are a golden snapshot of a world that was about to disappear, a beautiful tribute to the last great emperor of the Habsburg dynasty. The Great War changed everything. It redrew the map of Europe. The vast Austro-Hungarian Empire was gone. In its place, a small republic was born. The new Austria was a nation facing immense challenges. It had lost its empire, its industry, and its sense of identity. The old currency, the krone, was a victim of the chaos. Hyperinflation took hold. Money became almost worthless. People's savings were wiped out. The economic turmoil was a disaster. The country desperately needed a fresh start. It needed a symbol of stability. That symbol arrived in 1925. Austria introduced a new currency, the shilling. This was more than just new money. It was a declaration of a new beginning. The shilling was backed by gold. It was designed to be stable and trustworthy. It was a promise to the Austrian people that the chaos was over. The first shilling coins were simple and elegant. They featured the national coat of arms, the eagle, but now with a broken chain on its legs. This new detail symbolized liberation from the old monarchy. The coins represented a modern, democratic Austria. During these difficult years, known as the interwar period, there was little room for grand commemorative coins. The nation was focused on survival. The economy was fragile. The political situation was tense. The priority was to provide a stable currency for daily life, not to create expensive collector's items. The mint focused on producing the coins people needed for trade. The beautiful gold coins of the imperial era were a distant memory. The reality of the new republic was one of austerity. The nation was rebuilding itself, piece by piece, shilling by shilling. However, the idea of using coins to tell a story did not disappear completely. The need to create a new national identity was strong. The Republic looked for heroes and symbols that were not tied to the old monarchy. They looked to Austria's rich cultural and religious history. Even in these tough times, a few special coins were considered. The instinct to mark important moments in metal was still there. It was waiting for the right moment to re-emerge. The shilling had provided the foundation. Now, Austria had to find new stories to tell on its coins. Even in an era of hardship, the power of symbols remained strong. In the mid-1930s, Austria was a country caught between political extremes. It was a time of uncertainty and fear. The government of the First Republic was looking for ways to unite the people. It sought a symbol that could represent Austria's soul. It found one not in an emperor or a politician, but in a figure of deep religious significance. This was the Madonna of Mariazell. Mariazell is a small town in the Austrian Alps. For centuries, it has been the most important pilgrimage site in the country. In the center of the basilica at Mariazell stands a small wooden statue of the Virgin Mary. It is known as the Magna Mater Austriae, the Great Mother of Austria. This statue is a powerful symbol of faith, hope, and national identity for many Austrians. In 1935, the Austrian Mint decided to honor this icon. It issued a beautiful 2-shilling coin. The coin was intended for circulation. People could find it in their change, but its design made it special. It was a piece of art that people could carry in their pockets. It was a small reminder of faith in troubled times. The design of the coin was simple and beautiful. On one side, it showed the value and the Austrian eagle. But on the other, it featured a stunning depiction of the Madonna of Mariazell. The image was based on the famous statue. It showed the Virgin Mary holding the infant Jesus. The artistry was exceptional. The lines were clean and modern, yet the feeling was timeless and traditional. This coin was different from the imperial portraits of the past. It did not celebrate worldly power. Instead, it celebrated spiritual heritage and cultural identity. It was a coin for the people. The Mariazell coin is a landmark in Austrian numismatics. It shows how commemorative themes could be part of everyday money. It was not a limited edition gold piece for the wealthy. It was a silver coin that everyone could see and use. It proved that a coin could be both functional and meaningful. Unfortunately, the shadows were lengthening over Europe. Just 3 years later, in 1938, Austria was annexed by Nazi Germany. The shilling was abolished. The Mariazell coin, a symbol of Austrian identity, disappeared from circulation. But it was not forgotten. It remains a beloved classic for collectors today. After the devastation of the Second World War, Austria had to begin again. The country was liberated in 1945, but it was occupied by the Allied powers. The economy was in ruins. Once again, the nation needed to rebuild its identity and its institutions. One of the first steps was to bring back its currency. The shilling was re-established. It was a crucial move. It signaled the return of Austrian sovereignty. The first post-war coins were simple, made from cheap metals like zinc and aluminum. The country was poor, but it was once again making its own money. As Austria's economy recovered, so did the quality and ambition of its coinage. The famous Wirtschaftswunder, or economic miracle, brought prosperity. With this new confidence, the Austrian Mint began to think about commemorative coins again. It was time to celebrate the new Austria. To celebrate its culture, its history, and its achievements. The Mint started to issue a regular series of special silver coins. These were often 25 or 50 shilling pieces. They marked important anniversaries, honored famous Austrians, and celebrated the country's artistic heritage. This was the true birth of the modern commemorative coin program. The themes chosen for these coins tell a story of what Austria valued: Music was a constant inspiration. Coins were issued to honor great composers like Mozart, Strauss, and Haydn. They celebrated the Vienna State Opera and the Salzburg Festival. Science and art were also popular subjects. Coins marked the anniversaries of famous Austrians like the physician Sigmund Freud or the painter Ferdinand Georg Waldmüller. These coins were a way for Austria to project its cultural power to the world. They declared that this small country was a giant in the world of arts and sciences. These silver commemoratives were hugely popular with the Austrian people. They were affordable, they were beautifully designed, and they were a source of national pride. People would eagerly await the new issues each year. Collecting them became a popular hobby. It was a way for ordinary people to connect with their nation's history and culture. The mintages were large enough for many people to own them, but they were still special. This program laid the foundation for Austria's future success in the world of modern numismatics. It created a strong domestic market and a reputation for quality and artistry. By the 1980s, the Austrian Mint had a strong reputation. Its silver commemorative coins were loved by collectors at home. But it was about to create something that would make it famous around the world. The Mint saw an opportunity in the global market for bullion coins. These are coins made from precious metals like gold or silver. Their value is tied directly to the price of the metal. Investors buy them as a way to own physical gold. At the time, the market was dominated by coins like the South African Krugerrand. Austria decided it was time to enter this world. But what theme could represent Austria on a global stage? What was universally recognized as Austrian? The answer was obvious. It was music. Specifically, the music of the Vienna Philharmonic Orchestra. This world-renowned orchestra is a symbol of Austrian culture at its very finest. Its New Year's concert is watched by millions of people across the globe. So in 1989, the Austrian Mint launched the Vienna Philharmonic gold coin. It was a brilliant idea. It linked the timeless value of gold with the timeless beauty of music. The coin was an instant success. The design of the Philharmonic is a masterpiece of engraving. It has remained unchanged since its first issue. The obverse of the coin shows the great organ from the Golden Hall of the Musikverein in Vienna. This is the famous hall where the orchestra performs its New Year's concert. The detail is incredible. You can see the individual pipes of the organ. The reverse side is a beautiful arrangement of musical instruments. It features a cello in the center, surrounded by violins, a Viennese horn, a bassoon, and a harp. It is a tribute to the tools of the trade for the musicians of the Philharmonic. The Vienna Philharmonic coin, or Philly as collectors call it, quickly became one of the best-selling gold bullion coins in the world. It was struck in pure gold. Investors trusted its purity and its backing by the Austrian government. Collectors loved its beautiful design. For many years, it was the best-selling gold coin in Europe and Japan. Later, the Mint also introduced silver and even platinum versions of the coin. The Philharmonic cemented the Austrian Mint's place as a major player on the world stage. It is a perfect blend of investment security and artistic beauty. It is Austria's golden ambassador to the world. On January 1st, 2002, a major change came to Austria and much of Europe. The shilling, which had served the country for so long, was replaced by the euro. This was a huge moment in history. 12 countries adopted the new currency at the same time. For coin collectors and the Austrian Mint, it was the start of a new chapter. The old shilling commemorative programs came to an end. A new era of euro coinage began. Each country in the Eurozone could design its own national side for the 8 circulating coins, from 1 cent to 2 euros. Austria chose its designs carefully. They wanted to show the world what the country was all about. The smaller coins feature alpine flowers, a nod to the country's stunning natural landscape. The middle value coins show famous examples of Viennese architecture, like St. Stephen's Cathedral and the Belvedere Palace. and the 1 and 2 euro coins feature portraits of famous Austrians, Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart and the pacifist Bertha von Suttner. These circulating coins became tiny ambassadors. They traveled all over Europe, carrying their Austrian stories with them. They were a new way to share the nation's identity. But what about the special commemorative coins for collectors? The introduction of the euro opened up exciting new possibilities. Austria continued its tradition of issuing high-quality silver and gold coins. But now, these coins were denominated in euros. The themes remained proudly Austrian. The Mint produced series celebrating Austrian castles, abbeys, and historical figures. They continued to honor the country's rich artistic and scientific legacy, but they also began to experiment. The new Euro era encouraged innovation. The Mint started to explore new shapes, new metals, and new technologies. This spirit of innovation led to one of Austria's most famous modern coin series. In 2003, the Mint issued the world's first ever niobium coin. Niobium is a special metal that can be colored through a process called anodized oxidation. The core of the coin is silver, and the center is a disc of colored niobium. This creates a stunning two-tone effect. The first coin featured a blue niobium center depicting a satellite. Each year, a new coin is released with a different color and a different scientific theme. These niobium coins are incredibly popular with collectors worldwide. They show that Austria is not just a guardian of tradition, but also a leader in numismatic innovation. Today, the Austrian Mint continues to build on its incredible legacy. Its coins are a fascinating blend of art, history, and investment. Most of the special commemorative coins produced are not intended for daily spending. You won't get a niobium coin as change from a shop. These are created specifically for collectors and investors. They have limited mintages, which means only a certain number are made. This scarcity makes them more desirable. Collectors value them for their beauty, their rarity, and the stories they tell. They are miniature works of art, carefully crafted and beautifully presented. The range of coins on offer is wider than ever before. There are the classic silver and gold issues, continuing popular series like Tales and Legends of Austria. There are innovative coins, like the colorful niobium series, which explores themes from robotics to artificial intelligence. The Mint has even produced coins that glow in the dark, part of a series on prehistoric creatures. Austria also participates in joint European coin programs. For example, it issues a special 2 euro circulating commemorative coin each year, often with a theme shared by all Eurozone countries. This fosters a sense of shared European identity. The process of creating a new coin is a journey in itself. It starts with an idea. A team of historians, designers, and marketing experts decide on a theme. Then, the artists get to work. They create sketches and plaster models. Every detail must be perfect. These models are then digitally scanned and used to create the dies that will strike the coins. The Mint uses state-of-the-art technology, but the process is still guided by the hands of master engravers. It is a marriage of centuries-old craftsmanship and 21st-century precision. This dedication to quality is why Austrian coins are so highly regarded. From a king's silver ransom to a glowing dinosaur coin, the journey of Austrian coinage is remarkable. These small metal discs are more than just money. They are time capsules. They connect us to the grandeur of the Habsburgs, the struggles of the First Republic, and the innovative spirit of modern Europe. They are a testament to Austria's enduring culture. They celebrate its music, its art, its science, and its history. To hold an Austrian coin in your hand is to hold a piece of that story. It is a story of resilience, creativity, and beauty, stamped in silver and gold for all time.